Red Edition, welcome. I am a patriot in Canada. I'm a patriot wherever I go in the United States of America, but I am a Canadian, and I get the part about Canada needs to be better. Let's make Canada great again. And I'm doing everything I can to kind of make my voice heard. I ain't a politician. I don't need your vote. I don't need your money. I don't have to lie to you. I appreciate your input. I want to share some stuff with you, how to help make Canada great again. If people can take away that much of what I say in terms of my ideas that I'm about to share with you, then I win. And that's all I want. I'm too old and stubborn to run for public office. I want someone else to do it. Do the heavy lifting, but I'll give you some ideas. And again, please share your ideas with me, how to make Canada great again. I think it's real simple. It's get the taxes down, get our freedom up, and we're all going to have a happy day and a happy life. And it's really just about that. And when you're taking all my money away, and you're taking all of my freedom away, you're not making me very happy. I ain't having a happy day, and I want to have happy days from here on, right? So we need to work towards that. Politicians won't get what I'm saying. This is a news release that I issued recently to the mainstream press. No one printed it. I'm now going to hire a journalist. I'm going to break it down into 9, possibly 10 individual press releases with a whole bunch of detail, and then hopefully it'll get picked up. But I want to share with you, and it's on our website as well. World News, it's there as we speak. Go and have a look for a reference, because I'm not going to cover it all. I'm just going to go through some of the points with you. And I want you to think about it, and I want you to write to us. Give us a comment, www.rededition.com, or on many of the other channels that we are, the platforms that we are on. Help us so we can all help our country. Here it comes. News release, capitalist ideas to help Canadians. Canadian governments need to better represent Canadian citizens to provide a free marketplace with low taxes, small government, and big opportunities. There are many ways for Canadians to have money freedom and personal freedom, but politicians don't get it. And I go on and on to say that taxes are about 72% of everything that we make when you pull it all into the circle, okay, the hidden taxes and so on and so forth. Let's reduce the taxes, firstly, and increase our freedom so we can have a better place. That's what I say. And then I have examples. Here we go. Decrease the federal ridings by 100. There are 338 ridings presently, and we're overrepresented. Take it down by 100 and your taxes drop a lot, because hundreds of billions, millions of dollars are wasted on the extra ridings. We don't need that kind of representation. Fewer ridings and government would be much more efficient as well. Eliminate the Federal Language Act. Trillions of dollars have been spent on bilingualism, the Official Languages Act, and it just isn't needed. I mean, if you didn't have that requirement, the economy would be stronger as well. In addition to that, I said, well, let me finish that sentence. That is because you go into a supermarket in the United States, and there's cereal boxes from here to the back wall, right? In Canada, it's half as many. Why? The manufacturers say, we can't put our verbiage on those boxes in 2 different languages and expect to make money. So they ignore so many products. We need that eliminated. And why do you need it anyway? All the people that do speak French officially are in Quebec, and their official language, of course, is only French. So this isn't about being against anybody. Talk Cantonese. I don't care what you speak. But in terms of the Official Languages Act, it has cost trillions, with a T, of dollars. Eliminate that, and you will eliminate some taxes. Taxes will drop like a rock. Bring back the penny. Several $100 million are charged to citizens each and every year by retailers when they round up the transactions. And that's in addition to the taxes that have already been paid on that money that's being rounded up. Bring back the penny, taxes drop. More savings comes to the people. Reform pension programs for politicians. They get paid 2 or 3 times more than the average Canadian. Surely to goodness they can sort out their own pension plan, or at least come up with a formula that is better than the one that exists now. Corporate welfare and loans and grants, that's real simple. Just get rid of it, and taxes will drop like a room, not like a rock, like a boulder. That would be a big deal. CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, spends and loses billions of taxpayer dollars each and every year. Sell it quickly. Get rid of it. Put the money in the bank, pay off some debt, and there's no more feeding. Billions and billions are not needed. It's already trillions if you go back 30 years or however long it's been around. Taxpayers get to keep more of their money. GST, it's 5% in Canada. Abolish it. Get rid of it. Effectively, it's been replaced now with the new taxes on marijuana. You don't have to have GST. It's dumb. Governor General, reform the offices of the representatives of the Canadian monarch. Every province has a rep. Federally, there's a rep. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year. Get rid of virtually all of it. Have that one representative with the secretary, and your budget will be a couple of $100,000 a year. That's all that is needed. Healthcare. You got to reform the Canadian healthcare programs. It's federal, but it's also provincial. It's very confusing. I know a guy who was 80 years old. His lifespan, his expiry date was 2 years before that, right? He's 80 and they put him on a 2-year waiting list for a procedure. I mean, really? That's what they do. They're inefficient, and it's upwards to $12,000 a person, so it doesn't make any kind of sense, and we don't have a choice. That has to be reformed. Taxes will go down, and the care will go up. Carbon tax. The carbon tax is a combined provincial and federal fee on emissions from fossil fuels, right? Governments, in turn, plan to give you rebates of up to 90%. To take money and then pay some of it back. You know, I'm going to hit you with a 2x6 and then come over, give you a hug, and then only hit you with a 2x4. That's dumb. It doesn't make any kind of sense except their political kind of warp sense, I guess. There's no environment strategy or benefit of a carbon tax. To tax carbon to improve the climate is like taxing stupidity to improve a person's IQ. Taxes must be reduced. You just got to get it done. In addition to the tax saving things, that's the money part. I hope you can add to it. We need to get this out there and talk it up to people to try to help and save our country. In addition to that, I've got the freedom part, and I want to cover a couple of points with you as well. Term limits. You got to have term limits. Two terms of 4 years each for the Prime Minister and 3 terms of 4 years each for any member of Parliament. There's so many talented Canadians. I mean, you gotta rotate the talent. You can't have these guys stay in there until they die or they don't get elected. It's not very nice. Fixed election date, you have to have a fixed election date. In Canada, they kind of do. Harper, the great conservative, he put it in. Here's an election date. We're going to do this, and 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, he called the election on a different date. You can't be allowed to do that. You have to have a fixed term election date. Recall. Board members of the riding need to have the ability to fire and charge legally elected officials for misrepresentation, poor governance, or election lies. You lie, you got to pay up there, man. And citizenship. The Prime Minister and all senior cabinet ministers have to be born in Canada, right? Elected politicians cannot be citizens of other countries. Presently, about 65 elected politicians in Canada are also citizens of other countries. I actually think our Prime Minister is a citizen of France as well as being one in Canada. And I think the Minister of Defense is a citizen of India. What if we have a war with India? Loyalties are tested. I mean, I just don't think that's a very good thing. Donation limits to political parties. I think the limit now is $1,575. What they're really saying is, I'm honest to $1,575. If you give me $1,600, I'm a crook, right? Really? That doesn't make any sense. You should be allowed to donate as much money as you want. That's your prerogative, but it has to be your money. Unions, they give money. It's not their money. You're not entitled to give any money away to any political party unless it's your money. I think that's pretty straightforward. Red tape. There's so much repetition. Get rid of all of those repetitive laws and rules and employees. Streamline the bureaucracy. Remove the law that says union employees can't be fired and remove the law that says that to join a union is mandatory. That takes your freedom away, and it's not nice. Personal protection. It's legal to protect yourself in Canada, but it's not legal to use any tool. A woman will be jailed if she carries mace or pepper spray, if she's jogging or hiking, if it's concealed. The law is she gets 3 years in jail, right? No government should have the right to take that right away from you to defend your life. No government has that right. Government of Canada has done that, and that's very, very wrong. Abortion. It's unclear if there actually is a law for abortion in Canada, and you need a binding law. Too much talk all of the time. Somebody fix it. For heaven's sakes, discussions include topics like when can an abortion be performed? When does life begin? Should sex selection abortions be allowed? Why doesn't a man have a choice as to whether or not the woman has an abortion? He doesn't have a choice while paying child support if the woman decides to keep the baby. And you know what? Then, of course, in Canada, you can legally abort a baby up to 1 minute before it's born. Hospitals won't allow that typically, but the law says you can do it up to 1 minute before it's an abortion. 1 minute after, it's murder. I mean, you gotta straighten this stuff up. Should healthcare cover the cost? There's all kinds of things to talk about, and that needs to be done sooner than later. Immigration. It is said that unemployment for Canadians is almost 20% when the various forms of welfare are factored in, and until all Canadians have jobs, it's just not practical to bring other people into the country. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like having a house full of your kids. None of them can find a job. None of them eat real well. What do? You irresponsible parent, you go out and you adopt more kids, right? Bad. Multiculturalism. This is a preservation of a culture, of a unified identity within a country without integration, and which culture is different from that of the country one has moved to. Multiculturalism doesn't work. It divides countries, it divides people. Canadians are colorblind, so you gotta kind of go with that. It's about culture. Canada has its own culture. If you want to retain your culture, retain the country you came from. Go home, that'd be good. Buzzwords: inclusiveness, diversity, and tolerance. Oh, they're really buzzwords. I mean, politicians are out of touch, and the beliefs that they hold and these words, they're meaningless, really. They just don't make any sense. So we just want a free marketplace with big opportunities, and we want to restore freedom to Canadians. Do your bloody job. All this other stuff doesn't compute. Keep your buzzwords to yourself. Just go out and do what you're hired to do. Like the Prime Minister, he makes $300 and some odd thousand a year. He doesn't work. All he talks about is gays and gender bathrooms and all that kind of nonsense. There's so many other things that can be done to fix our country, Canada. Give me input. Write us, help us. We're going to break it all down into a whole series of news releases, and maybe some elected politician or plural will pick it up and say, hey, here's something that we can do to help, because really, maybe it's about them. Maybe it's not just about me. That'd be a politician talking, and I ain't one of them. Y'all come back. Thank you.